Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This video is going to be about paying for dates and hooking up. So I'm going to be addressing both men and women and their major concerns that they have when they're meeting someone for the purpose of dating. So if you're just looking for a hookup, this video won't really help you. Now, I do enjoy listening to a lot of videos on YouTube made by men, whether they're talking about dating tips, what kind of women to avoid, men in the MGTOW space, which means men going their own way, like they've woken up to the reality of women as just selfish, entitled, gold diggers who let themselves go, don't even have sex with you, put their kids first. And so they have a very negative view of women and they don't want anything more to do with women. Then there are also men in the manosphere space who are used to be players that give you tips on how to get a really good woman and how to be really in a relationship. There are women talking about narcissistic men and avoiding narcissistic men, warnings about men, and women telling you how to be more feminine and loving in a relationship. So there are all these different views. Women are bad, men are bad, women are good, men are good. I don't want a relationship. People just use me. I really like a relationship. I just want to say that, starting out, the world is what we make it. And I don't believe in, all men are bad, all women are bad, women just use you, men just use you. It can happen. However, I still have a deep down inherent belief in the power of friendship and people being good. But how do we weed out the people who are just going to use us from the people who are legitimately wanting to be relational, to be friends, to connect, to date? And number two, what is our responsibility to bring to a dating situation if that's what we choose to do? And how do we avoid being used by someone? Okay, first of all, it's true that the world has really changed and a lot of men have soured on the new feminine woman, the new woman who isn't so much feminine. A lot of, 75% of Americans are overweight. And let's see, where do I want to start with this? Guys, in order to be attractive to the opposite sex, we have to think about, what do I have to give? And at the same time, what are my boundaries? So it's about self-esteem, like, how do I take care of myself? How do I love myself? What do I have to offer? Okay, how can I make myself a full vessel with something to offer? And boundaries so that I'm confident and I don't let people take advantage of me. That's the whole key for any friendship and in dating. So putting someone on a pedestal, trying to give them something to get, these are all manipulative tactics that backfire and that make you less attractive and make you guys a simp, or women just being like used for sex. So guys, how can you avoid being a simp? That means you're just begging for a woman to give you attention by, doing whatever she wants, paying for her. And women, how do you avoid a guy just having sex with you and then just blowing you off? Now, those of you who are dealing with like abusive people, narcissists, this video won't help you. I'm just talking about the generally nice, normal people that you meet in your everyday life. So this video is not going to help you if you tend to attract narcissists, abusive men or women, or, alcoholics, or like really dysfunctional people. This video is intended for those of you who just tend to be interested in like normal people that don't have problems. Okay, so guys, I am a big believer that a man should not pay. A man should not, a man and a woman should not overinvest. And so a man has to be very careful with his money, and a woman has to be very careful with her body. Because if you spend money too fast or you give your body too fast as a woman, you don't know if this person really likes you or is just taking a dip. So a lot of men have this idea of, I want to be the chivalrous guy and I want to take this woman out and show her a really good time. But then how do you know that she really likes you? Because if she really likes you, she will go on a free date with you. She will go on a hike. She will meet you for coffee. She'll meet you at the gym or at a yoga class. She's not going to try to look for you to pay for her. If she really likes you and is really interested in you, you don't have to prove anything by providing. Providing is a thing, I believe, that a man can do if he is interested in a relationship with a woman and wants to be the provider. But for initial dates, if you don't really know someone, I don't think that the man should be providing anything other than his company. And we as women have to get off this entitlement track of, I'm the queen, I should be serviced, he should pay, I can look however I want. You know, we have to get off, we as women have to get off the entitlement track and realize that men don't owe us anything, and men are working really hard these days and they're tired of being used. Now, guys, if you're being used, it's your own fault because you're a simp, and that's very unattractive. The moment that you're, looking for my favor or looking for my approval, I'm turned off by you. So you definitely have to, guys, understand that what I'm about to propose is going to make you more attractive. Not paying for a woman doesn't mean that you hate women. It just means that you know that your company is worth enough. And if you're not at that point, you need to get to that point before you start dating. Because what happens, say that you're like a really super great guy and it's like, yeah, I really like this girl. I'm going to take her out to a nice dinner, and you spend $100. And you don't know if she really likes you. Maybe she just liked the free dinner and you'll never hear from her again. How are you going to feel? Did you really want to just take her to that dinner, or did you do it to get something? To get her affection for a second date, to get sex? Because if you're doing it to get something, then you are, something back in return, like a transaction, then you didn't really want to pay for the dinner. You were using the dinner, paying for dinner as a manipulation tactic. Now, let's say you're not. Say that you genuinely want to pay for this woman that you don't know for a dinner date. Why? Okay, because now you're in this one-sided thing where you're doing all the giving, and what if she never cooks for you, doesn't pay for the second date, and then what are you going to do for the second date? Now, if she's just there with you because you set the precedent of I'm paying, I'm the man, now she's going to want, are you going to buy her that pair of shoes that she wants? And what's the second date? Are you going to just do a coffee? That's going to feel like a big letdown after that nice dinner, or a $200 dinner, actually. Are you going to keep doing $100 and $200 dinners every date? Because how can you afford that? Because if you're looking for a woman for a partnership, you're going to think about building a financial future with this woman. And to build a financial future is harder and harder now to buy a house. Like, if your goal is to have enough money to invest, to buy a house, to put into your career, the stock market, real estate, properties, or whatever, if you have financial goals, spending a bunch of money going out on dates and traveling is going to run counter to those goals. And do you want a woman who's aligned with your financial goals? Because a woman aligned with your financial goals and a woman respectful of your money is not going to want you to go into debt taking her on dates, because she also wants to build a financial future with you. And that means cooking rather than going out. It means going for a hike rather than going for a expensive hotel, or going camping instead of staying at a 5-star resort. What kind of woman do you want to date, and what precedent are you setting? That's what I want you to think about. Because if you're going broke taking this woman out, what kind of life are you going to have? I want you guys to think a little bit forward, because if you take me out to a really nice restaurant for the first date, and then after that it's just going to be Subway sandwiches, I'm not going to like that very much. But if I really like you, I'm happy to make the sandwiches and go on a hike and have a picnic at the top of the mountain with you. So you got to get to the point, guys, where a woman wants to be with you because you're a happy person, you're interesting, and you know, I think better than spending money is to create fun dates and take a woman on an adventure. Okay, I'm going to challenge you that way, because, you know, going on like an early morning hike, watching the sunrise, or if you're an evening person, going on a hike in the evening where the sun is setting and you have some wine and a picnic basket, and she brings some food and you bring some food. Or not going for a swim. I wouldn't do something where she has to get like show her body. Putt-putt golfing. Going like a lot of places where you live might have a lake or something where you can rent a boat and do some rowing or kayaking or any kind of outdoor activity. If she does yoga or goes to the gym, take a gym class together, take a yoga class together, do something physical together. I think those dates are a lot more fun because you're naturally moving and you can kind of get close to each other's proximity, and you can kind of talk between, like putt-putt golf would be a great first date probably. And that way, you know, the woman isn't just with you because she's getting drunk. She's not with you because she's feeding you. And likewise, as a woman, when I go on a first date, I'm going to wear something conservative. Usually, like if I were to meet for coffee, like some kind of business attire, you know, not showing anything, like skirt, modest length skirt. I wouldn't show anything sexy for a first date. Like, and yeah, so I think that's really good advice for you guys, is to, because as you start dating a woman, you naturally want to be like, oh my God, this woman has added so much to my life. I want to do something for her. I want to buy her some jewelry. I want to buy her, take her to a nice dinner based on what she has given me and invested in me and how much I appreciate her. Then you take her to a nice dinner. And at that point, she will wear a nice, sexy dinner dress. I'm old school, you know. I'm telling you old school stuff because I'm 60. And I was raised by parents where my mother and my stepmother are feminine women, sort of submissive to my dad. I have a Persian dad, and I like that kind of relationship. I like seeing men as, and I have a brother and I have sons. I like to see men as being honored and valued. At the same time, I've also been on the other side, and I'll get to this now, where, you know, I have sex with a guy because I like him. I'm not one of those Chad Tyrone girls that people talk about that's been a run through whatever. I would have sex with a guy that I liked, not knowing that they were just using me for sex. So I had my heart broken a lot. And this is now for the other side. Okay, so men shouldn't pay for women unless they're dating that woman and they want to. And I think because a woman could just use you for the free things that you buy, and you don't know if she really likes you. So you got to test her, and you shouldn't overinvest financially. And women, we need to test men and not overinvest in them sexually, because I don't hook up. I'm single for 9 years. I don't hook up. Why? Because men are capable of using me for sex the same way that women are capable of using men for money. And I don't want to be used for sex. Men will do this very easily. their testosterone, their libido is really high. When they're horny, they're not very choosy. When they're horny, they're not very choosy. They will fuck a 4. They might see you as a 4 and fuck you. And these guys that I hooked up with after my divorce, I didn't know any of this. I was ignorant, so I'm teaching you. I want to know that a guy likes me for me before I have sex with him, because a guy just using me for sex, that hurts me. That makes me feel really sad. And the last time I tried it, I'd gone for a while not hooking up. I decided to try it last year, and it was very traumatizing to me to have sex with a guy, because I do it sober and I'm very sensual. And I didn't even necessarily want to date this guy, but it was very painful to me that he just had sex with me and then I didn't know when I would see him again. It's not something I can handle or want to handle. So therefore, I don't hook up. I would do the same thing with a guy. I would want to date him. I wouldn't want to have sex with him, and I wouldn't want him to pay for me, because I don't want to owe him anything. I want to know, am I with you because you're paying for me? Or am I with you because I like you? So when a guy doesn't pay for me, it lets me as a woman figure out if I like this guy. And if he likes me or is just wanting to smash. So that's why I think it's really important when you first get to know someone that we each pay for ourselves and there's no sex. This is my advice. You can take it or leave it. You don't have to do any of what I say, but I think it would work really well, because yeah, you can pay for the woman, but you don't know if she really likes you or is just using you for money. And you can have sex with the guy right away, but you don't know if you'll ever see him again. So if you want to know if that other person really likes you, and if you really like that other person, keep the money and the sex out of it. That's it. Keep the money and the sex out of it. Now, if you know somebody from work or you already know them really well, you know, it's different. But if you're first meeting someone, I think it's good to kind of get a feel. Do I really like this person? Does this person really like me? Before I take the risk of spending my money or whatever. And along in that line, I want to say that the idea of men paying for women came about as a chivalry thing when women were property. And men had to prove and court women financially, like, I can provide for you, and the woman would agree to have sex with him. That was marriage. I pay for you, you have sex with me, I work outside the house, you work inside the house. And we kind of had these roles. But now a lot of men get really upset because women let themselves go physically, and they're no longer attractive after marriage or after children. And they still feel entitled for the guy just paying for everything. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, you have to keep your standards and your boundaries. You have to always keep your self-esteem of taking care of yourself, for yourself, and have boundaries around what you will and will not put up with. And if you're in a relationship where the other person is feeling entitled, or they're kind of simping, or people-pleasing you, you can go to therapy and work on these things. But this video is mostly about just early on getting to know someone. So women make their own money now, but they still want men to pay for everything. And that is not fair to the guys, because they're like, okay, this is what men are saying in the manosphere. Women want me to pay. Meanwhile, they're fucking some hot guy for free. A lot of women are just fucking some hot guy for free. But I have to pay for her. Why am I paying for what this guy got for free? That's how men look at it. I have a run-through vagina, and I'm paying for her dinner while she fucked this guy for free just because he's hot. And I think women are saying, well, I don't know. I guess a lot of these women that I hear on YouTube or whatever, they seem to feel really entitled. Like, I think women haven't woke up to the fact that just having a vagina and an attitude is not attractive to a man. I think that women have to realize that we have to bring something to the table. And what you have to bring to the table isn't opening your legs. I think that what makes us attractive to men is, first of all, our beauty. So we have to keep ourselves fit, whatever fit means to you or your body type. Fit and attractive, hopefully naturally. Men don't like all that big eyelashes and fakey lips and all that. You know, just be natural, in my opinion, is beautiful. Men want us to be beautiful, they want us to be happy, and they want us to be nice to them and appreciate them and be like soft and sweet. That's what they want, and there's a shortage of women like that. There's a shortage of women like that. A lot of women are like, yeah, you know, they have a lot of attitude or, yeah. And so I think that men should only pay when they really want to and when they feel really appreciated. And I think women should only have sex with men if they feel like they really want to and they feel appreciated. Don't have sex or pay for a woman to gain favor, to gain validation, to gain approval. You have to be to the point where you're like, I'm enough and I'm attractive to the opposite sex and I have something to offer and I also have boundaries. I think that's the place where we all have to get to. I don't have to pay for you. If you're a guy, I don't have to pay for you to like me. And a woman is like, I don't have to have sex with you to like me. Ultimately, in a relationship, though, the money and sex situation changes because in most relationships now, both people are making the equal amount of money, or sometimes the woman earns more money. And the woman would want sex with the guy. But when it comes to sex, here's another thing, is that men's libido tends to be higher than women's in general because they have testosterone, and they also don't have this. There's a part in the woman's brain that in this book, A Billion Wicked Thoughts, he calls the Miss Marple Detective Agency, which is a woman's body can be turned on, but in her brain it's all this, no, I can't because my kids, what will people think? You know, I could get pregnant, all these things that put on the brakes. Men don't have that. They feel their libido and they're like, go for it. So they'll fuck a 4. And a woman might be like, that guy's a 10, but I don't know, you know, I don't know, I might have regrets. What if he's just using me? He doesn't seem like he's really nice, you know, all these things that stop us. And the same thing goes after we're in a relationship. A relationship might not be going very well, but the guy will still want to fuck 2 or 3 times a week. But the woman won't want to because her brain will be like, well, you know, he only touches me when he wants sex. You know, what if the kids come in? I'm really stressed and tired from work. Like all these things in her brain shut it off. So in a relationship, a different skill set comes in about being relational. And a woman definitely has to keep being sexually active with her guy. And if she's in a place where she doesn't feel like having sex with him because he's neglectful or he's rude or whatever, I think they have to have a conversation about it, because a woman's desire to have sex with her man is a reflection of her own health and her attitude about the relationship. And I will say that these guys that go around feeling like, well, I married you, I'm paying for you, I'm paying for the bills, you owe me sex, is not how it works, because then you just pretty much just have a woman who just lays there, or you're pretty much forcing yourself on her. But if you want a woman who really desires you, you have to nurture that relationship, because for us as women to want to have sex with you guys, it has to do with how we feel about the relationship. Even women like me who are relational and who want to be sexual, you know, if we just had a fight, I don't really want you to touch me. But a guy won't feel that way. So different factors come into play. But this video was just strictly about early dating. And again, in conclusion, I think in early dating, we should find out, do I really like you do I really like you if you're not paying for me and there's no sex? Do I really like you, and do you really like me? Or is this person just with me because I'm paying for them, or I'm giving them sex? Or, you know, are we just together because we're having fun, spending money and doing adventures and going on fun dates? Or do I actually like this person if we're just sitting on the sofa next to each other reading a book or making dinner together? Do I really enjoy this person's company? Do I feel like this person brings out the best in me? Am I able to contribute to this person's life? I had a client here the other day. You guys know I'm an escort. I had a client here the other day, a young man in his early 30s who was just starting a new profession. And after the appointment, we talked for like 20 or 30 minutes. I don't know. And, you know, I was giving him some advice about not paying for women. And he was asking me for some career advice. And I was talking to him about that. And like, I have to say, like, that part of the appointment to me was a lot more fulfilling than the sexual part of the appointment, because I really felt like I was helping him and making a difference in his life and contributing to him based on my, you know, wisdom and more things I've learned. And he really appreciated it. And it just felt so fulfilling to me. And I thought, you know, this is what a relationship should feel like. I mean, I'm obviously not in a relationship with him, but a relationship should have a lot of those moments where I'm like, oh my God, I'm really making this person's life better. I can feel myself contributing to this person. And this person appreciates me and values what I have to offer. I even texted him the next day, you know, a couple more things, and he texted me and thanked me for the appointment. And, you know, that's how it should be. Not like, you know, what can I get out of you? So guys, all those MGTOW guys, the MGTOW guys made a poor choice in women. Every MGTOW guy, every woman who was abused by a man, you made poor choices, and you can live the rest of your life based on your poor choices. You know, don't ever date women. They just want your money. Don't ever date men. You know, they just want to fuck you. You know, people just use you. You can see the world through that lens. Or you can open your eyes and realize that there are good people and bad people everywhere. And it's up to us to make better choices. And one thing that helps us make better choices is to have some discipline and boundaries around who we let into our lives and how we behave and what we expect of ourselves. And some of the discipline is, you know, taking responsibility. What do I have to offer? How do I show up? What do I allow into my life? You know, the world is really changing, and I think that it's up to men to be giving without simping, and for women to be, I think, more feminine, but not letting men in too easily. And another thing, keep the alcohol out of your early dating. Don't do any dating late at night. You know, try to be home by 9 o'clock. There's no reason for you in early dating to be out after 9 o'clock if you're drinking. Nothing good will come of it. You know, have some discipline, have some boundaries, have some modesty, have some restraint, and be open, I guess. I would love to hear your comments on this video. I myself have given up on dating. You know, I feel like if something comes along, fine, but I still like to make these videos because I'm so intrigued by how the modern world has changed so much. And I'm very intrigued by, you know, guys will send me tips on videos to watch about world history or different wars or whatever. That doesn't really interest me, but I get super interested in like relationship dynamics and how people view and think about relationships. It does interest me. It is a topic that interests me, and I do coaching around relationships. I love to help people with their relationships. So if you're struggling in your relationship, contact me for some coaching. My website is thetreasurewithincoaching.com, and you can email me and let me know what you'd like to work on in your relationship or your dating. and I'll see if I can help you. I really, really enjoy that very much. And thank you so much for watching my video.